Hey, all you Ween heads out there, this is Rory from Weencast. We are happy to announce our first Patreon exclusive episode. $1 a month will get you access to exclusive content on Patreon, and we are rolling out our first episode. Our first episode is about the Jimmy Wilson Group. Way back in 2001, Shane was fortunate to attend a Jimmy Wilson Group concert in New Hope, and so we're going to be chatting it up about that. If you don't know what Jimmy Wilson Group is, it is basically a limited run of shows over several years that included all the members of Ween, and then also Chris Harford, Reverend B. Ill, and Andrew Weiss. And as well as some other people may have helped out a little bit. But that's your main crew right there. So that's an awesome crew. And Jimmy Wilson Group is some awesome shit. So you should totally check us out on Patreon. We also want to give an extra special shout out to Reverend B. Ill and Fred, because they actually were, obviously Reverend B. Ill was there that night and Fred was there that night, and so they both checked in with us and gave us a little soundbite about how the evening was for them. So that's an awesome little treat that you'll get if you check us out on Patreon. So to tantalize your taste buds, I got a little clip here that I'm going to play for you. A little story about how Shane was able to secure a pretty good spot, an early entrance to John and Peters for the show. And if you don't know about John and Peters is a small kind of hole in the wall bar in New Hope, Pennsylvania, which is kind of one of the early places for Ween as far as shows and getting some exposure. And so it's pretty famous in the annals of Ween lore. So anyway, we're going to roll this clip here, and hope you enjoy, and check us out on Patreon.
You know, John and Peters is very small. Okay, so when we first got there, I think there was already a line started just on the sidewalk of people, waiting to get in. But there's a little courtyard outside with seating for maybe like 50 people. Okay, maybe. That's pushing it. And something that was very reminiscent of our friend Corey. He basically just walked both of us up and was just like, what if we just sat at that little table right there? There was one little table like big enough for two people, crammed in between like 3-4 other tables that there was obviously no one else sitting at because there was just no room to sit there, right? So Corey was just like, we just take a couple of chairs off the stack, put them right at that table and just sit down. And it was just like, if you're doing it, I guess I'm doing it, And, we totally were just pretty much dickheads to like the people that were sitting around these tables, because there was just no room to like cram anybody else in, but we just did it anyway. And in hindsight, it was the best move that we could have made, because about 10 minutes later, after him and I were sitting down, a girl came out and was just like, okay, anybody sitting in the courtyard gets first dibs, and they're the first people to be let in. And it's like, oh, well,
That's so cool.
We just happen to be sitting down, so, and so we were one of the first people to be let in, but
I guess that's us.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, everybody, I hope you enjoyed the clip. Just goes to show that sometimes you got to be a little bit sneaky to get what you want. But if it has to do with Ween, then all's well that ends well. Anyway, everyone, check us out on Patreon, and I will hope to hear from you soon. Later.